If you already have the previously released Amatsu Mina, this is basically it. But instead of gloss black, it's matte white, and has an ornamental sword. Uh, Wait, what? Oh, oh my. Ooh, okay. It happened while I was away, so uh, stay tuned for an important announcement. Or rather, I think. Anyway, roll intro. Hello everyone, this is Modeling with Variety, and today we're taking a look at this, the 8826, or better known as the Gundam Astray Gold Frame Amatsu Hana, to see if this color swap successor can truly inherit the glory of its predecessor. Let's take a look. As per usual, the Daban boxes just have the number in the front, and a caution label on the bottom side of the box. Opening the box, you're greeted by a ton of parts, but not as much as I'd expected from a box this size from Daban. Although, to be fair, this is better than forcing the runners to fit inside that may lead to warping and subsequent crushing of the other contents of the box. I gotta say too that the gold on this is absolutely gorgeous. The luster of these parts is just stunning. And I do prefer this gold rather than just straight up mirror finish metallic because it reflects light in a way that also diffuses it. So it looks more like an actual metal rather than just extremely polished metal that's not going to be used, or at least I think, in any military grade war machine. But that's just me. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Anyway, there's also another cool thing about this kit in that there's pre-painting. Yes, pre-painting on some of these ornamental bits, such as the black accent pieces on the wings, the white extra armor on the left shoulder, and amazingly, the eyes. Yes, the eyes are even painted in. This kit's crazy, I tell you. All of the white seem to be coated in a matte coat as well. And the red and gray seems to have a little bit of glitter that you see in special injection Gundam base or P-Bandai exclusive kits, but lacking the matte spray applied to both the white and the gold. There's also some water slide decals and the wires for the anchors that will be relevant later. Oh yeah, there's a stand included too, but it doesn't have the gold plating of the previously released Amatsu Mina. And also, unlike the other white parts, these aren't coated with matte. Alright, let's get built up and see how it looks. Okay, first up, let me scratch one of the things I said earlier where the white parts are sprayed with just matte top coat. Apparently, this whole kit is mostly pre-painted. All of the white parts are sprayed with white, then top coated with matte. And the gold is sprayed silver, then yellow, and then top coated with a finer matte spray for that semi-gloss finish. It's absolutely crazy the lengths Daban went through with this model kit. It looks great, with the semi-gloss gold being contrasted with the very much matte armor gives off a feeling of opulence, like a fine piece of china that you inherited from your grandmother. As you may have noticed with my reviews that I don't put stickers on these models because more often than not, these are really cheap feeling and these might rip apart even before applying to the model. This is unfortunately a downside to my reviews because some of these are color correcting and as such must be put on the model to fix some of the inconsistencies. But conveniently, there isn't much color correcting needed on this kit. Almost all of it is either pre-painted or separate parts, which is truly an amazing feat. Okay, let me address the elephant in the room. Though having the absolutely stunning gold finish, The unfortunate downside of that is having atrocious nub marks, showing the bare plastic underneath. This is absolutely one of the biggest downsides of this model kit, because having these gigantic gashes of plastic just breaks the illusion of this being a 17.99 meter tall death machine downscaled into a plastic model to just a plastic model, which in this model's case is more apparent because the coating not being the same color as the plastic underneath. And also you can't really sand it lest removing the top layer of metallics. Other downsides include the typical fitting issues and occasional misalignments when putting things together. I'll talk more about this later when I'm addressing the build experience already. So, a question that you may have is that, how does this differ from the Amatsu Hana in the manga, the RG, and the metal build? Well, it looks like this is a metal build through and through, because it has more stuff on the wings, the extra stuff on the head, the lance, and the ornate sword. Like, this is a direct copy of it. A friend of mine took pictures of their own Amatsu Hana, and yep, I could confirm that yes, this Amatsu Hana is indeed a direct copy from the metal build. So, the build experience. It's of course a mixed bag. Since this is a bootleg, the fittings and the alignment of the parts are sometimes not great. Can be seen on a lot of sandwich connections on this model kit. This is especially egregious on this model because of the extra thickness that the pegs have due to the paint that is on them. It just makes the kit a little bit tight in some areas, which is both positive and negative depending on where you come from. Positive because it most certainly guarantees tight joints and an overall better feeling play experience. And negative when it comes to building the kit first, since the fittings are tighter, which makes the parts slightly harder to go together, consequently leading to the pain and regret when building this model. And as you can see, there are a lot of thin and sharp edges on this kit, which, as you may remember from my Red Zeta review, don't have fond memories of. But again, as with my previous reviews, it does look very cool. Speaking of thin and sharp edges, I have a building error on this model where you can't see it right now, but it's actually a pretty big error when I show you. It's right here on the sword. See these stress marks? Yep. That's from me trying to fit this tiny part that completes the sword. I don't remember how I held the sword, but this thing turned into an S shape. When I was forcing these parts together, how did it still remain in one piece, you ask? That's actually because Daban made it so that the plastic was rigid enough to hold sharp tips with their molds, but flexible enough for my own manhandling. So kudos to Daban for making this so. This is actually one of the best things about this model. The plastic cut is one of the best I've felt, and dare I say better than some of what Bandai produces. You know how plated parts from Bandai kits, or at least some that I have experience with, have this unusually hard plastic snap whenever you cut into them. This gives more stress to not only the part, but also your nipper. This is fine when it comes to frame pieces, but when it comes to the armor, it's not ideal. So having this on not only plated parts, but also white parts made the experience a lot better than I expected. It's still not Bandai tier, but to be honest, it's getting pretty close. Or at least when it comes to its plastic cutting experience on the white parts and the plated parts. Let's move on to the articulation and accessories. For the articulation, I'm just going to remove the backpack first because of how fiddly it feels connected to the main body. Like, see here. How unstable does that look? The head moves up only that much, moves up that far, down that far, and could do a little bit of the chicken. There's a joint in the torso that contributes to the range of movement the arm has. With that and the ab joint, the left arm could go up pretty far. The shoulder armor is separate from the arm itself. There's these weird things on its head that move that much. The flap on the left shoulder moves independently. This red part has a joint on the base as well. The left arm's bicep rotates 360 on the top. A beautiful double jointed elbow. There's supposed to be a joint here as far as I know, but now it seems to not be functioning. The hand is on a ball joint which does what it does. The right arm has the same inner body joint which contributes to the arm movement. It rotates at the top of the bicep as well. Double jointed. And has a ball jointed hand like the other arm. The torso could move side to side and rotate 360 at the bottom. As far as I know, there's a joint here on the middle, but I don't know for sure on this, and I don't want to risk destroying the frame trying it out. But do tell me in the comments if you did try it out for yourselves, or if there is a joint there. The side skirts can move out of the way. There's this piece that holds the Totsuka no Tsurugi sabers. The leg goes forward that far, back that far, and out that far. A beautiful double jointed knee. Feet move forward that far, back that far, and pivots that much. The toe also goes down that much. Now for the backpack. The wings essentially flap on this centerpiece. It could also rotate at the base. The wing goes up that much and has this little bit on the top that goes up a little bit. The gray part and the other wing piece on the back are separate pieces as well. This Magashira no Hoko shot lancer can be separated for the gimmick. Put the appropriate adapter piece and put the wire included with the Magashira no Hoko shot lancer piece on the end. This part extends and moves a little. This little red part moves as well. The accessories start with the Triceratop's Kai offensive shield system that has a loose grip, separate needles, big sword, and the beam rifle main body which has a big seam line down the middle. The Tsumuha no Tachi claw, which has a closed form and an open deployed form. The Okitsu no Kagami offensive beam shield system that could extend and open up for the shield gimmick. The Totsuka no Tsurugi sabers are fairly simple but great detail all around. I forgot to mention this also with the Triceratop's Kai, but it also has cool detail on the big sword part. The big sword, which is fairly simple as well, but one of the highlights of the Amatsu Hana, and the thing that separates it from the Mina release. It has an attachment piece that attaches to the butt part of the mobile suit. For hand parts, you get 8 pairs, 4 that are coated gold and 4 gray ones. The hands that you get are open, trigger, holding, and closed fists, which are on the kit right now. Why this? That's because the right arm is not supposed to have the gold frame coating, since it is the Blitz's arm. And there are also slight differences between the right and the left hands other than the coating. The right hands having extra sharp tips on them, while the gold frame hands have normal squared tips. And finally, the last accessory, the stand. There are 2 versions, a big one for flying poses and a small one for us to use as a support for standing poses. It moves this much and locks here. The neck retracts like that and locks that way. The smaller one is much simpler and has an equally simple way to stabilize the main arm of the stand, which it only rests on the smaller support arm. And that's it. Before the conclusion, I want to say something first. Hey you! Yep, that way. Yes you! Do you want to take the reins of a modeling with variety video? Then here is your chance. Comment down a question below and I will answer it in the 1K special video. Coming after this video actually. The best one that I will pick will decide the fate of this HGC Strike Freedom. Will it be glorious or disastrous? You decide. Comment down below your questions. Thank you. Now to the conclusion. Overall, this is an amazing looking model kit with a slightly better building experience when compared to the other bootlegs, but not by much. The design itself is rather busy, which hinders the articulation somewhat, especially with how big the backpack is. It really does show that this isn't really made to be a model kit and is supposed to be a figure which could hold a variety of poses with ease while holding the most edgy of weaponry, and of course must be built with metal parts in mind. But the fact that this even exists, to begin with, is such a marvelous thing. Would I recommend this to everyone? No, not everyone. This kit, like a lot of bootlegs, are for intermediate builders of model kits. And what do I mean by that is people who have a few model kits under their belt already, like a few MGs or even HGs. Someone who would like a challenge. Those sort of people. Or maybe even some budget collectors who would want an eye-catching piece on their shelf. That's because you can't really see the nub marks from like 3 meters away. Or maybe you can. I have astigmatism, so I can't really see it from 1 meter away. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. If you like it, leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you again for 1K subs, and I hope to see you down there in the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram and or Facebook. Links down in the description if you're so inclined. Alright, I almost forgot. Be sure to leave a like if you want me to strip this model down to bare plastic, because I'm kind of interested of seeing what's under the hood of this thing. And if you leave like, I think 200 likes, then I do it. Yeah. Again, thank you for 1K subs and thanks for watching.